What happens when two of the biggest names in boxing collide in the most unexpected place? Not under the bright lights of Vegas, not in a packed arena, but inside Floyd Mayweather's private gym. That's exactly what went down when chaos erupted after Terence "Bud" Crawford threw hands at none other than Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, you heard that right. Bud and Canelo didn't wait for the fight contract, didn't wait for the press conferences, didn't wait for the DAZN cameras. They clashed in Floyd's own house, and things got heated fast.
Oh, you fuckers. He said, oh, you fuckers. Holy fucking God.
Let's rewind. From what we know, Canelo wasn't even supposed to run into Crawford that day. Canelo rolled up to Mayweather's gym to confront Floyd himself. Why? Because Floyd's been taking shots at him recently, reminding the world that he already beat Canelo years ago and calling him easy work. You know that cut deep.
You could take a guy like Canelo, this guy could do, he could pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
But here's the twist. What Canelo didn't know was that Terence Crawford was already in the building, training with Floyd. When Canelo pulled Floyd aside to air out his frustrations, Bud didn't just sit in the corner. He stepped in. Words flew, tension spiked, and before anybody could blink, Bud let his fists fly. One clean punch landed right on Canelo. The gym erupted. Trainers, bodyguards, Mayweather's people, everyone jumped in to separate them before it turned into a full-on brawl. But by then, the damage was done. Crawford had made his point loud and clear. He's not here to play games. Now, here's where it gets even spicier. Bud wasn't there by accident. He and Floyd are tight. In fact, Floyd has been one of Bud's biggest supporters recently. Remember when Gervonta "Tank" Davis started beefing with Crawford? Tank went as far as to take shots at Bud's family. And who stepped in to defend Crawford? Floyd Mayweather himself. That's right. Floyd sided with Bud over his own former protege.
There was some kind of crazy trash talk with Gervonta and Terence Crawford recently. And one of the things that I've always kind of noticed is most of the time, one of the things that's kind of off limits is families. Like you usually don't,
Yes.
people
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. And so I wanted to kind of understand what your thoughts was about like some of those comments that was made. I think it was about Terrence's wife. What, like in your mind, where, because obviously, like, you've been in this sport.
I think Terence Crawford right now in the sport of boxing is the pound for pound best fighter in the sport of boxing right now. It's good to see him in the position that he's in. I think he has a beautiful family. I think he has a beautiful wife, a beautiful queen, a black queen, and there's nothing better than a black woman in this world. That's just my opinion. We all entitled to our opinion.
That bond between them explains why Bud was training in Floyd's gym. And it makes perfect sense, too, because only 2 men in boxing history have beaten Canelo Alvarez, Dimitri Bivol, and Floyd Mayweather. With Bud getting ready to face Canelo, who better to sharpen up with than the guy who already cracked the code?
Listen, however they rate me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we got to fight, and I'm going to win the fight. As simple as that.
Can I ask you about if there's any rematch clause with this fight with Canelo?
No, it's not.
Is that something you push for?
No, I didn't.
And there's any weight restrictions to the fight at all?
No, it's not.
A lot of fighters would like to put on a weight restriction to this type of fight. Why didn't you want to do that?
Because I want him at his best. I don't want no excuses. I don't want no, reasons why, he didn't feel good or anything. I want him at his best.
So when Canelo tried to press Floyd, Bud wasn't just protecting his mentor. He was sending a message. You're not going to walk into Floyd's house and try to flex.
But what if Canelo shoves you again in this press conference?
I'm going to cry like a baby.
All right, thank you.
Let's not pretend Floyd didn't know exactly what he was doing either. Floyd loves this kind of drama. He's been calling out Canelo for years, saying Canelo's resume is overhyped, that he handpicks fights, and that he'll never live down that loss from 2013. By bringing Bud into his gym,
y'all got to show my fighter a little bit more love than that now. You got to realize, we put our lives on the line. It's blood, sweat, and tears. See, a lot of y'all sit behind a computer and write about us fighters, but you guys never take the time out to really go in the gym and see what these guys go through. Now, on media day, you guys do show up, and we appreciative, because without the media and the support from the people from all walks of life around the world, we wouldn't be where we at. So I want to say thank you to all the media. I know what it takes when it's a fight of this magnitude, and I was the same young fighter before, and I had a dream. It's no different from other young fighters that I believed in, that I said was going to be good and great someday. Just like Gervonta Tank Davis, he was in the same shoes you were in, and they didn't believe, but then when it happened, they believed, then all the jealousy came.
Floyd basically poured gasoline on a fire that was already burning. He gave Crawford the platform, the stage, and the confidence to face Canelo head-on. And now? It's not just a fight anymore. It's a war that started in Floyd's gym. To understand why this punch is so important, you have to look at the bigger picture. Crawford and Canelo are already on a collision course. Bud's moving up, chasing greatness, and Canelo's the king sitting at the top.
When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh, man, you will whoop his ass.
Like yes, that. Man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Majimov.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about now.
But this fight isn't just about belts. It's about legacy. It's about pride. Crawford's been chasing respect his whole career. People doubting him, people saying he's too small, people questioning if he can hang with the big guys.
Like you said, if this Canelo fight, if you're able to be successful and victorious, like, how important is it for you to be able to rank yourself amongst all the top guys that ever did this thing?
It'd be great. That's why you take the chance. This is by far the biggest opportunity, but the biggest risk that I ever took in my career.
Yeah.
And I understand what's at stake. and I understand the level of competition that I'm up against, and that will make it great. You know, that's what all the great fighters will want, because it's a high risk, high reward type of fight. You come out on top. Look at everything that's gonna happen after that. You one of the top 5 fighters in the world ever, probably.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Where you rank it? Because I put that on Twitter. I said, if you beat Canelo, I put you in my top 5 ever.
And Canelo, he's been criticized for ducking fights, picking opponents at the right time, and avoiding guys like David Benavidez.
I feel like Canelo's a fucking pussy. That's just my opinion. Because if we ever fight, the man is making well over $100 million. You know what I mean? If, let's say, he's saying that I don't have nothing to offer, that I'm nobody, that I need more experience, this and that. If you're gonna make $100 million fighting somebody that has no experience, that he sucks, this and that, all this shit that they've been talking about me, why would you not come beat my ass and collect a big bag on my head after the fight? Like, this is the same shit I'm doing with David Moreau. You know what I mean? It's the hardest fight, but I'm not scared of nobody. You know what I mean? I like I said, I embrace the challenges. So for Canelo and his fans saying that I don't bring nothing to the table, I don't do this, I don't do that, man, they're all scared, just like how he's scared. You know what I mean? And if he wants to come prove that I ain't shit, come prove it in front of everybody. It's that easy.
So when Bud landed that punch, it wasn't just about that moment. It was symbolic. It was Bud saying, I'm not intimidated. I'm not here to wait my turn. I'm here to take it. Now let's talk about the actual fight, because if things were already hyped before, this just made it 10 times bigger. Fans are split down the middle. Some are saying Bud made a huge mistake, waking up a beast like Canelo before fight night. Others are saying this proves Crawford's confidence, that he's not scared of the size, the power, or the hype.
Of course, you know what I mean? Like I said before, this is the biggest fight in boxing. You know, Terence Crawford versus Canelo, Canelo versus Crawford. It's the biggest fight to be made in boxing, and it's made, and we're gonna make history.
We saw you at 180. Are you comfortable at that weight? Are you walking around that big? Are you comfortable at that weight?
No, man, I'm 200 pounds, man. What y'all talking about?
But let's break this down logically. Crawford has gone up in weight before and dominated. Remember, he didn't just survive at 147, he took over. Canelo, on the other hand, has had mixed results moving up. He lost to Bivol at 175. That's a huge piece of evidence that Bud can actually pull this off.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
The only real question is, can Crawford take Canelo's power? That's what everyone in boxing is worried about. The weight difference, the physicality. Because once you're eating punches from a guy like Canelo, it's a whole different world.
Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him, and Jamel was like, hell no, Jamel took a knee. You know, so it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about this might be, people might kill me for it, but well, not really, but this might be the best Mexican fighter ever. One of them, at least, right? You talk about Canelo and Crawford going up against him. So the only thing they have, but I would say the only thing he has going for him is he's a skillful fighter, and Canelo is older, but so is Crawford too. I think Crawford is 37, 38, something like that. Canelo's 36. So they both are older right now. But man, I don't personally see it. A lot of people see that Crawford can beat Canelo. It's just like that punch resistance is something else. They make weight classes for a reason. If he could beat him, man, I think he on the Mount Rushmore of fighters if Crawford can pull this off. But I don't see it.
But here's where Bud might surprise people. He's been sparring with bigger guys, real bigger guys. We're talking about legends like Andre Ward, guys who tower over him and push him to the limit in training.
Once, we got in the ring, he was so locked in. I was so locked in, like there was nothing really to say. We both locked in and we both focused on the task at hand. It was dope. I appreciate Drake for even, giving me the opportunity to step in the ring with him. I can say that, I spar under war. That's dope.
That's been Bud's secret weapon. He's preparing his body to handle the size and power long before he steps in the ring with Canelo. And if you combine that with his speed, that's where Bud's advantage lies. Speed kills. Crawford's footwork, reflexes, and timing are on another level. Against Canelo, who can sometimes slow down in the later rounds, that could be the key to pulling off the upset.
I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not. Kovalev
was older. He does.
Billy Joe.
Does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you named is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is not there.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo going?
A tough fight. Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more. Try to get the fight even more. And I'm watching him, I'm like, man, I can beat this dude. I've been fighting people bigger than me all my life, and I always came out on top. You gonna get hit. It's a fight. He gonna get hit too. It'll be good.
We also can't ignore the David Benavidez angle. Benavidez has been calling Canelo a cheater for years, accusing him of steroids and ducking him, and he's openly rooting for Bud to take Canelo down. When Benavidez says karma's coming for Canelo, this is exactly the kind of moment he's talking about. So Crawford isn't just fighting for himself, he's basically representing every fighter who feels like Canelo has avoided them. That's why so many pros are secretly cheering for Bud in this matchup.
Terence Crawford, does he have an opportunity to beat Canelo?
I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. Wouldn't be surprised if he loses either. Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Errol Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong.
Could you still make 68?
I don't want to make 68.
No, I know you don't. Terence wins 68.
Yeah, well, if that's, yeah, I can make 168.
When it comes to predictions, the boxing world is split right down the middle. Mike Perry kept it blunt. He respects Crawford, but at the end of the day, he's not betting against Canelo's power. On the flip side, Shakur Stevenson didn't hesitate. He said straight up that Crawford is just going to cook Canelo.
I think Bud going to cook Canelo. I think he's going to cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is going to be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so. No.
Corey, how you got a decision to stop this? Because Bradman and Boozy think that Bud actually might stop it.
Me and Boozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone, talked about it, but I think that's possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that Bud could crack too. So.
Michael Jai White even went as far as saying he's putting all his money on Bud, breaking it down in detail why Crawford's skills are on another level.
Canelo versus Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
September 13th. Now, what's interesting is I actually looked up the odds on this. I went on betonline.ag.
Yeah.
Canelo is minus 180. Crawford is 139. Which means that Canelo is favored, not massively favored. So it's like the way this works is that you'd have to bet $180 to make $100. Almost 2-1, like 1.8 favored over Crawford, who's 139. So that means if you bet $100 on Crawford, you'll get $139 back.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I'm just kind of learning this now. Do you feel that Canelo's going to win?
No.
Really?
No.
So you would put your money on Crawford?
Yes.
You'd make money. Just putting that out there. Why do you think Crawford's going to beat him?
Because Crawford could find people to fight like Canelo, who is amazing. Canelo has he evolved. I saw how he evolved defensively and everything. I just don't think he's as fast as Crawford. And I think Crawford is just a little step ahead as far as movement is concerned. And so I think it's going to be Mayweather Canelo Part 2. That's what I think.
I mean, Canelo is naturally heavier.
Yeah, Crawford ain't going to knock him out, but I don't know if Canelo's going to land very solidly on Crawford. Canelo's way better now, but I still think there's an edge. It won't necessarily be exactly like that, but I think he'll edge him out point-wise. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, so he'll win the points. Okay.
Because points. I just think still Canelo needs to be set before he fires. His basics are solid, but Crawford is jazz fusion, I feel. He can do unconventional things where Canelo is conventional. He's perfect conventional, but it's kind of like, it's like Allen Iverson. It's the crossover. It's the thing that you just, just a little bit different. That just gives you, all you need is that little bit of an edge. And I think Crawford has that.
Then you've got Eddie Hearn, who's been flip-flopping nonstop, admitting he keeps going back and forth on who's going to win. And honestly, that tells you everything. It's a razor-close fight. Sean Porter leaned more cautious, admitting his biggest concern is whether Bud can actually handle Canelo's punches.
The others say, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, So I think, if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean?
But the boldest take came from Stephen A. Smith. He didn't dance around it, didn't hesitate. He straight up said Crawford is going to beat Canelo.
You got a love for boxing.
Yes, love boxing.
Who gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up, the biggest fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud,
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
He's always prepared.
He's always ready. He's always
that.
prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's gonna knock him out.
So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.